It's largely because of one man's view of Russian history and his autocratic power to do something about it, alone with the demons that he wants to slay. Vladimir Putin, the former KGB agent, used to like portraying himself as a man of action, in touch with nature, who went after fish, not countries. But Mr. Putin has evolved from this. It is an argument about rival interpretations of history, a clash of myths that threatens to become a clash of armies, poised in the snow. Defender of the Fatherland Day in Russia, and the man who has claimed that mantle for over 2 decades as president came to pay his respects.
Еще раз подчеркну, что Украина для нас это не просто соседняя страна. Это неотъемлемая часть нашей собственной истории, культуры, духовного пространства.
This was a stream of consciousness version of a 5,000-word essay that he wrote last summer as Putin, the Amateur Historian. He was the driving force behind the creation of this giant statue at the gates of the Kremlin in 2016. Prince, then Saint Vladimir, his namesake, converted to Orthodox Christianity in 988. This was the foundation of ancient Russia, and he was its first ruler, its first protector of the fatherland. Except it all took place in Kiev, where there is also a statue of the same saint erected 170 years ago. But here they call him Volodymyr, and they see him as the founder of the Ukrainian nation. His bones and the bones of many of Russia's other great saints are buried in the churches and monasteries of Kiev. If Vladimir Putin were ever to enter the city as the conqueror, expect him to make a beeline for these places. This is his Temple Mount. In his view, there can be no reconstitution of Great Russia without its inclusion. Rival versions of the same history. Putin told us again that the breakup of the Soviet Union was a disaster because it allowed Ukraine to break away, diminishing Russia and its historic claim to be a nation anchored in Europe. But that's not how the people of Ukraine see it. They've been defending their right to see the collapse of the Soviet Union as liberation from Moscow's tyranny. That is their version of the past, and they're prepared to pay for it in blood.
Shortly after 4 o'clock this morning, I spoke to President Zelensky of Ukraine to offer the continued support of the UK, because our worst fears have now come true and all our warnings have proved tragically accurate. President Putin of Russia has unleashed war in our European continent. He's attacked a friendly country without any provocation and without any credible excuse. Innumerable missiles and bombs have been raining down on an entirely innocent population. A vast invasion is underway, by land, by sea, and by air. And this is not in the infamous phrase, some faraway country of which we know little. We have Ukrainian friends in this country, neighbours, co-workers. Ukraine is a country that for decades has enjoyed freedom and democracy and the right to choose its own destiny. We and the world cannot allow that freedom just to be snuffed out. We cannot and will not just look away. It's because we've been so alarmed in recent months at Russian intimidation that the UK became one of the first countries in Europe to send defensive weaponry to help the Ukrainians. Other allies have now done the same, and we will do what more we can in the days ahead. Today, in concert with our allies, we will agree a massive package of economic sanctions designed in time to hobble the Russian economy. And to that end, we must also collectively cease the dependence on Russian oil and gas that for too long has given Putin his grip on Western politics. Our mission is clear. Diplomatically, politically, economically, and eventually militarily, this hideous and barbaric venture of Vladimir Putin must end in failure. And so I say to the people of Russia, whose president has just authorized a tidal wave of violence against a fellow Slavic people, as the parents of Russian soldiers who will lose their lives, I cannot believe this is being done in your name, or that you really want the pariah status it will bring to the Putin regime. And I say to the Ukrainians in this moment of agony, we are with you. We're praying for you and your families, and we are on your side. And if the months ahead are grim and the flame of freedom burns low, I know that it will blaze bright again in Ukraine, because for all his bombs and tanks and missiles, I don't believe that the Russian dictator will ever subdue the national feeling of the Ukrainians and their passionate belief that their country should be free. I say to the British people and all who have heard the threats from Putin against those who stand with Ukraine, we will of course do everything to keep our country safe. We're joined in our outrage by friends and allies around the world. We will work with them for however long it takes to ensure that the sovereignty and independence of Ukraine is restored. Because this act of wanton and reckless aggression is an attack not just on Ukraine, it's an attack on democracy and freedom in Eastern Europe and around the world. This crisis is about the right of a free, sovereign, independent European people to choose their own future.
Is a student living in Ukraine and would like to get his thoughts about exactly what's going on. Joseph, good morning. Welcome to GTV Breakfast right here in Accra. Where exactly are you, Joseph?
Good morning. If you can hear me correctly.
Yes.
I'm currently in Sumy, Ukraine.
Okay. How far is that from where the violence is happening, the armed conflict is happening?
It's about a 3 hours drive from Ukraine.
Okay.
From Russia, sorry.
Okay. What do you see? What do you hear? What's the mood like where you are?
For the past weeks now, we've been seeking information from our administrators, but then we don't hear anything. Just this morning, we heard loud bangs on our doors to get to the downstairs, and then we came. We're all kind of standing. We didn't know what was going on, and then we've been asked to go back into our rooms. But then the interesting aspect is that you see the Ukrainians, the indigents who are in the university leaving, they've all packed their bags. But then we, as foreign students, we are left stranded here. We don't know what to do. And then I have a few colleagues here who I'd like to interview.
Okay, yes, go.
Okay. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Talon. I'm from Ghana, Sunyani to be precise. Currently, the situation here is unbearable, and I'll not lie to you, because the indigenous people here are moving to their various homes, and we, the foreigners here now, we are left stranded. Even it was yesterday, I personally moved to my school to inform them about. They don't know to inform us about what's happening in Ukraine, but they were trying to calm the situation down by telling us nothing will happen. But later this morning, we heard there are bombs blasting in other cities, which is like 3 hours from Sumy to Kharkov and 5 hours to Kyiv, which even if you are take flights, you are supposed to move to Kyiv, and that's their capital, which things are not well there. Honestly, we are seeking if governments will intervene or talk to us, let us know what plans they have for us, because lives here are not safe at all. I'll not lie to you, because if you are to compromise with anything, it's not life. You can't compromise with life so that you think like there's a safe way of which I can't lie to Ghanaians, I can't lie to people that they are back home, that here is safe, here is not safe. So even if you can tell anybody coming to Ukraine now, you should pause. You should hold on till maybe further notice, because life here is not safe.
Yeah. Okay, I also like to speak to my sister here. She's already packed her things, waiting to move. And then I'd like to hear from her. What's your name and where are you from?
Okay, so my name is Daisy. I'm Nigerian. So clearly, everything looked, at first, it was like the information basically from the school that anything was going to happen. But right now, as it is, it's very obvious. Like, everybody's moving, people are packing their things. It's quite obvious that everything is as serious as it is. Because last night they told us that we should prepare that they're going to switch off the lights by 3 p.m. today, our time. And I was like, okay. But by this morning, we just had to start running because we're hearing loud bangs that we should move, in case of anything. And they even told us to stock up on dry food, which we had to go and buy yesterday. So, but it is well. At the end of the day, we just need help to help and move.
Joseph, can you hear me?
Okay, so yeah, I can hear you.
Are you in touch with the Ghana embassy or the Ghanaian authorities?
No, we have various WhatsApp platforms where we are expecting information from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but up till now we haven't heard anything from them. It's getting scarier by the day, and then we are just hoping to hear from the authorities.
How many Ghanaians are in your school? Do you know?
In my school, I have well over about 10 students from here, and then we have another medical school in the same SUMI, which has more than over 70 Ghanaian medical students over there.
Are you in touch with your family back here in Ghana?
Yes, I have spoken to my mom, and she's panicking, but I have told her to calm down.
What do you want to happen?
Sorry, can you say that again?
What do you want to happen to you, the Ghanaian students who are currently in Ukraine?
Well, we just wish. Yesterday, the Nigerian students in my hostel have started receiving communiques from their foreign affairs ministries as to what to do next, where to go next if there's any problem. But for we haven't heard anything, or well, I haven't seen anything coming from our foreign affairs ministries on what to do next. My colleague, whom you spoke to previously, has already booked his ticket, and he's supposed to leave Ukraine on Sunday. But then what we are hearing is that the airport has been blocked right now, so he's left stranded here. He has his ticket ready to move on Sunday, but then he can't move. We actually do not know what can happen now. If government can hire a jet for us to come home, I don't know. We've seen government do such things, so they could hire a private jet to come and evacuate Ghanaians because we don't feel safe here right now.
Have other citizens been evacuated by their governments?
Not that I know of, but then you can see other citizens amassing. I mean, you see them gathering, and they are getting information from their leaders as to what to do. They won't share with you, but then Chinese community, you see the Indian community, the Turkish community. In my hostel, the Turkish community, I think they've already rented a bus, and then they've left the hostel.
So now, who is left in this hostel apart from you and the Nigerians? Who else is there?
For now, we still have. There are some other African students here from Comoros, Cameroon, and the Ukrainians have all deserted the hostel. They've all left with their bags. And even for myself,
okay. Are the authorities?
They've asked us just to pack.
Okay,
they've asked us to pack just our bags and our documents. So I just have my passports and a few of my documents. That's all I've been able to pick so far.
How is Ghana represented?
That's what they asked us at any point in time.
Thank you. How is Ghana represented in Ukraine? Do we have an embassy? Do we have a consulate? How is our representation like?
No, we do not have an embassy in Ukraine. We operate with the consulate in Russia.
Okay, so who covers our matters in Ukraine? Who do you speak to when you want representation?
Nukes Ukraine. There's Nukes Ukraine. National Union
of Ghana students.
Yeah.
And what is the latest? What's the latest communication they've given you, Joseph?
I haven't seen anything on our WhatsApp platform yet. But we were asked to fill forms previously.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've not heard from them since. We were asked to fill some forms previously.
Okay.
But we've not heard from them since.
What's the latest communication the school authorities have given you?
They've given us some emergency contacts just in case we want to contact for any information. But, well, and the funny thing is, it's in Ukrainian language. So the language barrier is quite difficult here. They've given us emergency contacts. It's quite difficult to contact them on that.
You don't speak the language?
Not too well.
Not too well.
Not too well. Not too well. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, what do you want to happen today?
Today, we are just hoping Putin will draw back his troops and then peace can prevail. That's our prayer.
And what's your message to the Ghanaian authorities listening and watching right now?
We are appealing to them that they should contact us. I mean, they should find ways and means and come and carry out of this country.
Okay.
Can't be in this.
Okay. Is that so they should be contacting you through NUGS? Is that correct? NUGS?
Yes, please. They should give us press releases. They should write us on. They should give us information as to where we can contact them so that they can take our information and then we meet up somewhere and then leave.
Very good morning to you. My name is Kofi Asante Impari and welcome to Diaspora Studios. I pay me my action baby Ubia Sewo Europe, Sewo America, Sewo Ghana, Sewo Asia. Baby Ubia pay me my watching Emma Akwaba Eba Diaspora Studios. So me say videos I made twagwi wa unim asemo a asi wo Ukraine ye nuanom ne bi omo ho akwakoka omo akwakohye anope me pese ye din komo kakra bi ye din komo efa nia asi wo Ukraine nia ye ya sisi asase mu akoba ne santokwa asi ho adenti na over months now the western countries UK, US, Germany, have been telling the world, say, Russia is about to wage war on Ukraine. Into omokra oda, say, citizens in Fikrumo. Na yen before Africans, still your governments and your hoshi, giant eguhonum, as say, sa to paya ye to go Ukraine force as we young Crawford akoka ho akoche ho amambu ben na ye man Ghana ebu ne ehye no mo ye nti anope ye baba be di we nyina ho nkomo ne ewurewurem ne adosodosom ne ya hwe kwan a ye betimi afa so a ye betimi de aboa wa ye nuano mo a ho akoka Ukraine afenso ade ba ko a me pesa anope ye san ehwe ne se Ntokwayi esi nyina is based on what is called Messianic ideas. Into uhwe me title na matro Messianic ideas destroying world peace. Messianic idea ni nyina is come from Russian Orthodox Church, Russian Orthodox way of worshiping. And idea yifi say me no wo kasa yi yenya ntiyeye say Masonries nibi practicing all these Messianic ideas about 800 of them ewo Africa say ewo Mali. And it is Russia spreading their Messianic ideas across Africa now. Also mind penny etionnum and African leaders etio a quite ben na omonso eba behwe afaso a resolve sa issues yi. Nti anopay be pese yehwe nyina na yehu baby aye gyina as Africans be pacho obaswa no abomodea na wa share amame wa o click link ne share na obetimi share akọ Facebook obetimi share akọ WhatsApp obetimi nso akọpe link no wa paste no into any platform bia wom wadaroma na efe de yendidi nkomo interactively nso ubetimi asend me message or question bi nso a utimi type ebeba na yehu ni na ya to adwen medase bebre nti ye baba be fiase enche bia just bear with me few more seconds and then let's go. Let's start.
Europe is now on the brink of war is largely because of one man's view of Russian history and his autocratic power to do something about it, alone with the demons that he wants to slay. Vladimir Putin, the former KGB agent, used to like portraying himself as a man of action, in touch with nature, who went after fish, not countries. But Mr. Putin has evolved from this. It is an argument about rival interpretations of history, a clash of myths that threatens to become a clash of armies, poised in the snow. Defender of the Fatherland Day in Russia. And the man who has claimed that mantle for over 2 decades as president came to pay his respects.
Еще раз подчеркну, что Украина для нас это не просто соседняя страна. Это неотъемлемая часть нашей собственной истории, культуры, духовного пространства.
This was a stream of consciousness version of a 5,000-word essay that he wrote last summer as Putin the Amateur Historian. He was the driving force behind the creation of this giant statue at the gates of the Kremlin in 2016. Prince, then Saint Vladimir, his namesake, converted to Orthodox Christianity in 988. This was the foundation of ancient Russia, and he was its first ruler, its first protector of the fatherland. Except it all took place in Kiev, where there is also a statue of the same saint erected 170 years ago. But here they call him Volodymyr, and they see him as the founder of the Ukrainian nation. His bones and the bones of many of Russia's other great saints are buried in the churches and monasteries of Kiev. If Vladimir Putin were ever to enter the city as the conqueror, expect him to make a beeline for these places. This is his Temple Mount. In his view, there can be no reconstitution of Great Russia without its inclusion. Rival versions of the same history. Putin told us again that the breakup of the Soviet Union was a disaster because it allowed Ukraine to break away, diminishing Russia and its historic claim to be a nation anchored in Europe. But that's not how the people of Ukraine see it. They've been defending their right to see the collapse of the Soviet Union as liberation from Moscow's tyranny. That is their version of the past, and they're prepared to pay for it in blood.
Shortly after 4 o'clock this morning, I spoke to President Zelensky of Ukraine to offer the continued support.
Mema wakabashon kubiem eba Diaspora Studio so medindi Kofi Asante Empare. Yebefi jumedi na se emise video na midi kan boy no na etwegu no obia ehuye etie mu asem. Nea akofa sa ntokwe ni sa insensemi nyina sorry excuse me I have something in my eyes sorry. Nyakofa santo kwe ne nyakofa sansensemi nyina aba Europe intokwa esi between Russia and Ukraine and now Russia invaded Ukraine dindindi nyina ne say it's all based on Messianic ideas. Nyina it goes back into history and it goes back into religion. It's the same Christianity faith, but it's Orthodox Christianity. Now, Russia for Nijidi said the army move video army boy here. There is a saint, as a saint, status Orthodox Russian worship, and as a Christianity, or started Nijumedieno Ukraine in Kiev. nti ne statue kakra paasi ho na owu ye no so krampo no yesie omo some of the churches in Kiev are with other saints. Nti after the Second World War, omunya the USSR ne na sefo no, and after the Cold War, and 30 years back now, Cold War, and the Russia is being Cold War and the 30 years back, but that was the time that started the disintegration of the USSR. Ukraine and can't Russia who are no on my back, no Ukraine as a sovereign country by their own, recognized by UN. Over about 30 years now, Ukraine has been a sovereign country. Chinibo, that nuclear disaster was Ukraine. After that, Ukraine was then persuaded to give up their nuclear weapons and then to be able to have a lot more advantage in the Western field in terms of trading and other things. So Ukraine then gave up their nuclear weapon, which is, to me, is a mistake. And then Ukraine was nuclear weapon, and also more nuclear capabilities are, and Russia be invade they will think twice, because they know say Ukraine can release those nuclear weapon, because they are nuclear capable country, and therefore they can destroy Russia or destroy the entire Russia army with their nuclear. Therefore, they wouldn't have. So nche we are no yabeko homo, but we are so say obika say baby a utumi wo and our strength wo no, let's trade it at dwenhu mienu pa ansa na what trade sa strength no, or you give up that strength. Ukraine asem we ntokwa we esie nyina yefa abawom as a country, as human beings, na yedi tu ye hofo. So what then went on and happened is all along no Putin be penny ewo Russia ye nyina Putin very, very temperamental, very, very unpredictable. When he moves and now see or move and then be okay, minimum be trade pepe be okay with the Western allies or China there be and we've personally I've never trusted the Russians and or the Kremlin. You can't Kremlin the Russia. I say Westminster. Kremlin is the heart of the Russian government. I say Westminster. Westminster is the heart of the British government. Americans, so I say Washington. Washington is the heart of the American government. Senate here. And I say Capitol Hill, America, normally they will say Capitol Hill, which is the heart of the American government. Yes. And I've never trusted Kremlin because or now cyber attack be now the sources have been found in Russia. Yet Kromwa, England, who say Russia are sending secret agents be about the poison crofobia UK. One was the Salisbury poison. There was another one who flew with a deadly poison. Be a friend of that poison. I say Palomion something. It had a code. I checked my refi and I did not research into it because I said here. And then somebody ban the former KBG agent be ewa hase omune nishia say omune no havuti and omude kakre so mumano no so mukono. So Russia has always been very, very tricky. Russia will go after Obia office not come home as see and where you my man as we feet on my mono. They go after them. So inti media me nyomo and share that me nyomo mbo adwensa me nyomo share that mbo adwensa. tiene na ne na mu a kakra meba 1 second Mishrewa William Vanchemi 1 second, just bear with me just 1 second. Let me quickly do something here, and then I'll sit down and carry on with the story. My apologies.
And talk about the last one and we close. Heartlessness. Godless, faithless, prayerless, loveless, lawless, visionless, heartless. Go to Kolebu, you will see heartlessness. We see it and we don't care. If you don't have two things, you will die. But I will add the third thing. Number one, if you don't have money, you will die. Number two, if you don't know anybody, you will die. But I am going to tell you, if you don't know God.
Me dash rebre mo fan enchemi na ese me sorry quickly at there. Enti ye didimu say na Russia has started say or was it about 2 years ago or 3 years ago or Crimea. Crimea was part of Ukraine, but very small territory. Be and then Ukraine gave up Crimea to them. Not knowing is that they even have a bigger plan to go after the whole of Ukraine, not just Crimea. And let me say intelligence from the Americans, from the British, my intelligence for a long time say Juma Russia because we're moving tanks, we're moving warships, we're moving your friend is saying troops close to the border of Ukraine. At the same time, after moving tanks, moving warship, moving troops, move even blood bank, because now modern warfare, they fight it in a way, say, you make sure, say, at the war front, and they even move a blood bank closer to the war front. To all these, Russia, the West, who say, invade Ukraine, so they started to sound the alarm. And they sounded the alarm. They even warned their own citizens to leave Ukraine because they could see that invasion was imminent. Invasion was imminent. Not Jane, before Ghanaians, Nigerians, other African countries. Say we have students in Ukraine almost there. Why? Because the whole of that Eastern Europe, has become and what should I say, an institutional or educational grant for African students who wants to obtain Western certification or qualification with regards to medicine, law, you name it, especially when it comes to medicine. So, it could train a lot of doctors. It be training in Russia, it be training Ukraine, it be training your friend is saying those eastern borders, the whole of that eastern borders, Romania, Albania, you name it, all these eastern borders. Why? Because it is cheaper to train there than to come to Western Europe like United Kingdom or Germany or France or Belgium or any of these countries to go and train. You will pay a lot more. So they go there, they train there, and then they come back home to practice. As we speak, according to sources, we have about 1,000 students in Ukraine. We have to go and get these 1,000 students from Ukraine. Well, we have to make a provision for them. Well, we have to ask them, communicate with them, and ask them to evacuate, because the West have been sounding alarm, say, sene eba bisi ewo Ukraine. Some more evacuate omo. Na sensi krana. They can go back. None of these were done. None of these were done. A failure Tiam. Russia atwashe with Ukraine so. Missiles. If you are say raining down on Ukraine. African students ehun akwakoka ohun omuhun akwachio. Inti yen de Africa de da bia ye betrase. Na yatwan ya ma ye nkrofo ewu. Hwe yi covid yi si wo China yi. Ghanaian students a ewo China esu braye mankofa o musika na mo de ma wo. Mankofa. Hwe yemba egu desert yi so nya ye di omu fem ayaka di Ghana form ba fem wo desert yi so omu super chosa sa ban be fine you abind diplomatically, no, you can speak with the governments in these areas and get some sort of resolution and come and pick us up. But it doesn't happen. Excuse me. It does not happen. The last time, Nana Donko, ono mobilize ya no nya honorable Canada Japan, ono this cabezoso, ono mukofa, and by you any be if it desert so. Question na me pese me bisa ne say, me bisa ya aban ne say. Enti aban no ade bia aban no aban ne pa no the responsibility anything Ghana ban can train. Mandate ya de ma Ghana ban say ombra no be di ade 4 years bia ye mom different mandate you know. Ghana ban pa no the responsibility then. Ghana by responsibility and one say waba wabedi ade na yetu omoka na omo talking about rules or they play politics with rules, they play politics with education, they play politics with everything. Na inyama omo ehia omo no and omo vote on so omo hia omo MPs there no ma charter a private jet to go and get them from United States. You can fly a private jet to pick people from United States to Ghana, which is far longer than going to Ukraine to pick your students. You don't even have to go to Ukraine to pick those students and bring them to Ghana. Eastern Europe, the whole of Eastern Europe, hotels are very cheap. Living standards are very, very, very cheap there. You could have moved these students from Ukraine to Poland or Albania or Romania or any of these Eastern European countries and get a whole hotel for them and then communicate with them from there and say, look, probably we pay for your hotels for 3 months or 4 months. Thereafter, if the war still continues and you can't go back to Ukraine, then you might have to fly back home, but with your own means. Yanyewe you. Yanyewe. Into the piano would Ghanaian government will always sit down for things to happen to their people. For things to happen to their people. Video na me born first Messianic bobiem. So say the Asian government and including even Turkey. Omu nyina arrange ese omu nkrofo. Aka Africa for nkwa. aka Ghana for, aka Nigeria for, aka Cameroon for, and Omuguho, any other African countries na Muguho. Yende yempeni for no mubu yente se mmoa. Yempeni for bu yente se mmoa. Udi Africa ni na utukwa na akota baby ubewu. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Mentimi anfa come history no, but mo ha there. Ni a unua Ghana ni achro. Students waka o Ukraine watch there's this guy on Facebook or see a friend Owura Kofi Chei. Medinidin betudra am dinidin so atudra. Owura Kofi Chei. Owura Kofi Chei hwenia Owura Kofi Chei achro. Or see, ironically, the Ghanaians who have gone to inherit the success of one's sovereign state, i.e., Ukraine, and broadly Europe, and always use those countries to mock their own native country, Ghana, are now calling on the same Ghana, the hell and worst of all countries, to come and evacuate them from the supposedly heaven, Ukraine, to the hell they once lived in. This is the principle. If you can't bear their words, he said, you don't worth their best. Okay. If you can't bear their worst, you don't worth their best. Since time immemorial, an idle black man has never fought for territory, but favor. In the course of finding this favor, he or she doesn't mind killing his brother, destroying all his gains, disrespecting his elders, and running down the culture of moral fabrics that define his or her identity. Unya Ghana new. Owura Kofi Chei. So now I'm yet to take into him and find out who he is. Ghanaian students are every Ghana. Akotra Ukraine, a training as medical doctors for them to come back and save somebody like you, your life, the life of your children, the life of your extended family, the life of your colleagues as doctors, professionals. And so many of our doctors were trained there. You can research it. And yet, and almost started training here in those areas. And yet, from Rolling Stone, Ghanaian students used to be sent to Russia to go and train as medical doctor. My own cousin was among of them, was one of them among those who were trained in Russia as medical doctors back then. Obi binini nua watching no so atene ochro. Mesa can be what obi binini nua watching no. Have you seen any medical student or any student in Ukraine at the camera afraid Ghana say Ghana is hell ana? It is a much criticism. But don't you realize Ghana is hell? For the mere fact Ghana is hell doesn't mean say Ghanaian government does not own the Ghanaian people abroad a duty of care. Ghanaian government still owns Ghanaians abroad a duty of care. For the mere fact that they're criticizing you does not mean you can you then stop all your responsibilities suddenly and said, I'm not doing it anymore. And the abano mon solving fiscal namonko. Ni empa by fufro. And kwasi asembe ni unya Ghana ni a young student watching in war times. Tienya unya Ghana ni actual. Me the baba beto me page in this my Facebook page. tie nea wo nua Ghana ni akyerɛ. Very sad. Very sad. Very sad. Yes, and tie. Yen konko tie video we so. Afenyo Markins. Yen go tie Afenyo Markins. Afenyo. Ono so endra tie no wo chemba ho.
As a businessman, I am worried. I am concerned, knowing that there's a call on us to rise up as patriots, to think about new ways. As a businessman, I am worried. I am concerned, knowing that the value chain is going to be affected. Imports would costs, duties will cost. And if you look at what is happening to the cedi, now dollar is moving around a certain figure. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, unless members do not want to appreciate the text of the statement made by Honorable Harun Idrisu. The Honorable Harun Idrisu said he was raising an issue of urgent public importance. And my contribution, my comments, are squarely in line with those concerns. And in doing so, I must bring to the attention of the House the reality. This is not politics. This is not NDC or MPP. This is about an international catastrophe which is affecting Mother Ghana. And the need for us to take away the politics and now have a new way of thinking to support our government. Because, Mr. Speaker, the call to evacuate Ghanaian citizens from Ukraine will come at a cost. No European country will evacuate our citizens for us. No Ghanaians, no European country. NATO will not do that. America will not do that. There is going to be pressure on the limited resources that we have. And as a nation, Ghanaian businesses who are supposed to do well to pay taxes, they are going to suffer. Their businesses will not do well the way they expect. Their projections will be affected. That is the reality. And I must bring this to the attention of all of us, so that any policy that will be brought will be seen in that light. Of course, Honorable Minority Leader, you've not spoken into, Deputy Minority Leader, you've not spoken into the mic. But if you're talking about e-levy, this is the more important reason why we even need it. You are saying you've not spoken into the mic. But if you are talking about the e-levy, that was the next point I was going to get to, that we should congregate around it and find a way of generating revenue as a country to save the situation, because we are not in normal times. Harun Idrisu couldn't have raised this matter at a better time than now. He couldn't have raised this issue at a better time than now. This is a patriotic call from him. And I agree with him. Honorable Harun Idrisu, a patriot, a Ghanaian who is looking at the reality, has brought to our attention this important international issue. We don't live in isolation. We live within the ECOWAS bloc. We live within the AU bloc. We are a member of the UN. We are part of the world economy. And I'm saying that our economy is being affected, will be affected, and we should look at the reality. Businesses will be affected. I am a businessman. I know what is happening. Lawyers will be affected. Entrepreneurs are going to suffer because of this Ukraine situation. Many of our compatriots import from Ukraine and Eastern Europe and Western Europe. Import will be obstructed. Booking vessels will not be like they're supposed to be. Government revenue at our port will be affected. We should know That is why Honorable Harry Nedrusu brought this to our attention. Mr. Speaker, and I will say, with all these, we should now look at an innovative way that in this crisis, how we can generate revenue to sustain social intervention programs as a country.
The dash bebre said over TA sa footage. No, 1 second. Let me remove this one. Me dash bebre said mo share sa footage. No, and here Afenyo Markins, Deputy Majority Leader, Ewo Ghana, yeah, Parliament. Eno no. Na utie Afenyo Markins students na oko form aban esesa aban oko form di omo ba no ehun debate ni o say it will be at a cost. It will be at a cost. O person tell me say Ghana ye will hear me to the point say Ghana cannot even evacuate 1,000 students. Hey, a serious o. What happened to all our resources? Everything we had as a country, what happened to it? What really happened to it? What happens to the taxes we collect? You want to collect more. Kennedy Japan said mutimo man, chief of staff man, $120,000. Oh no, the Kogu draft Safwa account. For you to evacuate these students, how much will it cost you as a nation? And you use the life of Ghanaian students in a war-torn country at the moment to play politics. To try to push your e-levy with that, to try to convince Ghanaians on e-levy with that. Meanwhile, you guys can rent a jet for 3 or 4 MPs to bring them all the way from United States. And the president can rent a jet to fly around the world. But you cannot rent even any cheap jet to fly the Ghanaians from the war-torn zone, or to even go there with a coach, get them from there to a nearby country. In country, who Ghana ni na wakwentu ma hwe ho sue na bobre because bibi to a menya wadwen say wo kuro bia obehwe sisi akrampo dem say we criticize them ne krampo no bia ba be kan wa ha no say yes say Ghana e hell unti and the hell ni omo mbakra ma me fa ebiem na yen ya betra abrochire awemba abobra wa ha aware I establish on what nipa no nware ye krampo no te ha oye na dwumotua me taxes obian ka say Ghana government mbefa no e students no ma fi Ghana ekwakwa training as medical doctors and then bring that brains back home to your hospitals. Now monko form no maka wonom no omo asem na ye ka omo no mo se mo mbefa o na me babiam ti say war esi ha ni ye tutu okura gu me so wo honom hanom a I prefer here than coming to Ghana, than coming to live in Ghana, because young can say measures be a buying at the betu the kwan for the white British, you know, or did the same measures better for the black British or even only British crampo now will or the measures better to give you somewhere safe for you to shelter. For you to shelter. It's unfortunate. Say, Ukraine. Ukraine is not a rich country. We all know. Ukraine do not have. They think that Russia is picking up on them. Why can't Russia pick up on Britain or France or any of these countries? Because those countries can defend themselves, or Germany, or you name it, or Netherlands. Those countries can defend themselves. They can't defend themselves. We should stop playing politics with the lives of Ghanaians. Yeah, yes, we should stop playing politics with the lives of Ghanaians. Say everything, the dollar has gone high. Dollar is run out of control before this conflict started. Way before the conflict started, conflict with and rank one. Then also, yes, the markets are down. But even if markets are down, Ghana, how many of us and Yesika markets nim Yesika markets if markets are down, the markets affect a lot more of the Western countries than Africa. Africa, Yesika hena markets mo. Yesika hena markets mo. So the markets are down. Sorry, I was hearing a noise. I think it was the postman dropping something through my letterbox. The markets are down. But markets are down and yet oil prices are high. Why? Because Russia is the second biggest oil and gas producer in the world. But on Ukraine, West, it will come to a point nobody will trade with Russia again with regards to oil and gas. Oil and gas, a better say in China salt. A better say salt. The demand will be so low because they are finding ways and means to try and be dependent on other people's resources, so that those countries will all the time try to hold them to ransom. That is the introduction of all these electric cars. Yes, we understand that the normal mechanical or combustion engines, pollute. So they want to move to greener energy. And no, way back at my finance minister said the West said we should move into greener energy. Into a petrol, oil, the barrel of oil, it will go down waste. Next year, fully electric. I won't let the pumps hold me to ransom. I won't let any country hold me to ransom. So you bebo, so you mbo, o charge ya on our corner. Energy there, electrical energy there. And no one say we develop all these developed countries can build nuclear plants to or nuclear energy to supply them electricity. Even Bola cry Britain, Bola, even still Accra, they still have a few because say it pollutes the atmosphere as well. Bola, to me the Bola generating energy. Yambole sum Ghana, Rebole sum Ghana. Britain can bola in answer because bola no almost generate energy, almost generate electricity. Bola. What's the Bruni no? Bola. 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 Or the generate electricity. Now, more the Montreal Parliament wa Afenyo Markins. Na me mun Akufo-Addo no wahe. President Akufo-Addo or wahe fa. Or wahe say. President Addo, Nanado, or wahe. Ono there, asam to ne manfo bia unhu no eto mo keta unhu no eto mo apiete bogos unhu no eto mo Ukraine unhu no asem to tem bia asam beto ne manfo no unhu no. As a president, you come out, you speak and find solutions. An internet mandate. An internet mandate. I find your markings. I'm a businessman. I find your markings. Shut up. When we're talking about businessmen, Ghana now be boast to businessman. U businessman and kohu and kobebia. Inti susu dan assume what I'm a businessman nonsense. Now do the work. Go and get those students out. Go out there and get a flight to go and get those students out. Now, munye proactive baku say. Munye proactive baku say. Go there and go and get the students out. Businessman with your peanut money. Businessman, anything. And yes, you cannot allegedly, mu chifem ma. Anka, ye mu say, ye mu bi say crampon, anka, ya bo brassing mo. I'm a businessman. Businessman, no, o de ba Europa, o sika no, enko hu. Enye twe na mu twi bi fam a allegedly a anka mu nyina mu sika enko hu. Mutimi Ken Japan Timi chief of staff Timi Mano $125,000 US. No akotwego obi account mu. Adenti. Obako for account o. J. Nia charter plane ko form bra. Mombra na mombeto aba. Ude waste sika na baby a ehia se mudi sika no bebu man no mumfembu. Now this should serve a lesson to all of us. It should serve a lesson to all of us as Ghanaians. And I'm a kind who are going to ma shall namutu ye. Tama almost started a Sunday alarm no say feel what is Britain, then Russia for Ekatrom call for say they should evacuate and they should leave Ukraine. No, wo obiama meka hwenkyerɛ so ɔhɔnom announce wetie wafasa communication ni bi now they two anamono no wafio cause Ghana there ombejao use Nigeria kra if you say communicate omanya communication with their students. Nigeria if you say communicate with their students. Me bebo video ni bien Nigeria, if you say communicate with their students over there. Ghana, no communication, no publication, nothing. Yet it TV so, yet it parliament, yet it social media, and now yet to IMPA. Yet they play politics. Hey, into paradi Ghana, oh boy insane. We are Ghana nina wuwa misi ube wu. I can't go to Kwesi Broni. Baby ayeti. Thank God to Kwesi Broni. Kwesi Broni enja umuda. Ni obeje amane mine no. San obeye ama. Ohun se uti kromo a uti atas. Ohun krampo se uye omine. And I see myself right now. Every time I fly out of Britain and I'm coming back, and you are in the flight, and it be a night flight. What now? Pilot air control say you are on the English channel. And no if you say read the weather you are on English channel. No if you say read the weather oh thank God, I'm home. Welcome home. Minyati pilot now, or we are now on the English channel. The weather in London is that, or Heathrow is that. I mean, oh, thank God, I'm home. Now, come on, ayo, hey, Once you hit that English Channel or anywhere in Western Europe, you know you are safe, even in the mid-air. In the mid-air. Because BBSia, you'll be rescued. BBSia, you'll be looked after. You feel like you are home. Adenti and Banisa. Banisa. Because it doesn't matter where we can. The closest British embassy, American embassy, Belgium embassy, France embassy, German embassy, you'll be looked after. You will be looked after. I believe Japan and New Zealand and Australia, same thing. You'll be looked after. Bruni, kwasi Bruni be show so will be no more than say wow mind be show so. You guys should stop playing the politics. Affirm your markings. Go out there and get those students out. It's part of the mandate in the mobile power. The students are in trouble. Go out there and get them. And stop I'm the businessman bullshit. Excuse my French. Because it's so annoying. Go out there, put something together, organize something, logistics, and get them out. Get them out. Say students now honomo obia hu tochima omabusu afon fa the government of Ghana and court, because the government of Ghana has failed in their duty to get those students out, because the government of Ghana owes every single Ghanaian. Once you hold a Ghanaian passport, they owe you a duty of care. It's about time. More challenging the systems. Ghana for it's about time. I'm more challenging system. So appear bogoso no bogoso honom no bogoso for no say mohani amode ye omo bogoso for munsa ka video ebia. Please, whoever is listening, share it. Ono munsa ka bi munko famo am lawyer bogoso. You can have a very good law firm of representing the victims of bogoso. No, or the abano and of a banning court. Sabana nyana said ye monfan court. Because investigation is some no. They are not doing the investigation. Because me GD said Ubibe fetchre aqua jisikebi. Joyan katasumu mwaso. Oyan katasumu mwaso, oyan katasumu mwaso sen. Say unya Ghana ni no achino ewa kwantu in a war-torn country. Now ba Facebook ebe throw we to owura kofiche. Ironically, the Ghanaians who have gone to inherit the success of one sovereign state, that is Ukraine and broadly Europe, and always use those countries to mock their own native country, Ghana, are now calling on the same Ghana, the hell and worst of all countries, to come and evacuate them from the supposedly heaven, Ukraine, to the hell they once lived in. This is the principle. If you can't bear their worst, you don't worth their best. Unya Ganeni, when you watch Unya Ganeni. Students in Kolahwa Chiom. Our more free form government. Now Unya Ganeni, when you watch Abeto Facebook. Serious. Serious. Very serious. We have issues. Abujinapo. Appear chat say appear true say bogo so honom no case no or yen katasumo mwaso hwanyan allegedly or yen hwanyan wo ho afenyo markings be ginawa no abe yusu nkola omo ho achi omo Ukraine no to as an excuse. to try and push for your e-levy. And then I'm on drop e-levy, no. Na mo law firms in any way na lawyers na mo taxes na Akufo-Addo na be catch no. They stop sa loophole no. Mudi sikane fala mo taxes no. Ne tax them from there. Moreover, a dollar kasiane sa properties na motor no for big stamp duties and to second and third and fourth homes so no more hitting hard to generate money for the government from there. And finally, introduce inheritance tax in Ghana. No more for threshold over about 150,000. And it was when the property is not worth more than $150,000, you don't have to pay inheritance tax. Any property thereafter or catalogs of properties thereafter, you have to pay inheritance tax. You say politicians, any scaffolding woman, because they are the ones who are making the money and building those assets, and therefore they will end up paying. In German, yet they won't do it. They won't do it. Rather, they will go after the poor. They will go after the needy. Hey, if you say, oh baby, I say, you don't hear to my dang why. Na bompa is in a coupon found see because Ohenian asami a more bo. Me mammy tells not they be your cancer no actually. Also Kofi Ohenian asami a more bo. Kofi Ohenian asam a more bo. So as a student, the shame to say I'm going to study and I'm going to break free from that country. And thank God I did. Ohenian asam a more bo. And I worked hard. Worked hard, madam for being the kind. Or sister and a stepmother treating no tamo or yeah, a color ten stepmother hono or be do a butchery. So wapon juma ba akoye 12-hour shift. Na still what dakra no da one na say treatment of firm in collaboration with the stepmother no or kaya. Odu fie 2 hours scram by no I say gary no I say fata they say me ko adwuma fufuro bi. Because he just wanted to be super successful. And he was, surprisingly. He was. He became so successful. He became so successful. Unfortunately, say, ufimuntem. Ofim kra wo kromu ano na our properties. Our properties are what odibia renting for. Media workaholic because I won't wait for Ghanaian government to hold me to ransom. So what you should be able to make your own arrangement. Say a cow, say a coach, say even a jet too. You should be able to make your own arrangement and say, hey, I need a jet. And fly yourself and your family out of the situation. Fly yourself and your family out of the situation. 1992, going back into history, 1992. Pamogana Fufi Nigeria, Yanko Baye. That time, now rolling is Netiso. I think the whole thing started about, did I say 92? Sorry, pardon me, not 92, 1982. It started about 1980, 81, 82. Nigeria for Ghana for Nigeria, Pamo Mobile. That time, now rolling is Netiso. That time, now, Omubedi, or mine so through military rule and bia. You see, and the C word and they say untiminka, unya can't see word now, home basset. And she see, I can't see word, And me kai panamia kola. Rollins sent ships, trucks, that are not cocoa board trucks, and that time now we have food distribution still. It's food distribution, and there's a way in a good. Any food distribution trucks, called Nigeria, a train Ghana for, Bebrebe who were there because of accident in that daddy, because drivers need be nim kwemu ni wanya bebre insem bebre. But he acted. Who said Rollins acted. He acted. About we dear kon bibie ni ho omoye. Bibia ni omoye. Bibia ni ho. Na mpese yetie sa video yi. Ba jamen come stream ne ho aha. That 800 mercenaries are on my baba she Mali, you know, Russian mercenaries, no. Eba mame fan count quickly near encore. Me shushawa me fan count, but I'll keep talking. Those 800 Russian mercenaries no mabesh Africa, no me show here. President Nanado, Mr. Ye bisa was a question. One should have my direct answer. You were very defensive. Maybe say me ye a hawk a crab in a bar. Na who said a idea omushaho. About bear me 1 second. Let me try and look for that quickly. Aha, mehu sa interview no. The fan can stream the whole quick while.
Our guest today is the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me once again.
You're also the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States. France and Europe have announced that they would pull out militarily from Mali. Does this create a security vacuum for Mali, for Sahel, and even for countries like yours?
Clearly, a new security arrangement has to be made in the light of the decision of the European countries led by France to leave the Malian theater. And we're engaged in those discussions to see what modifications there has to be to the security posture of ECOWAS, as well as the European forces, because my understanding from the statement that the French president made to us in private as well as publicly is that they're relocating their forces to Niger, essentially. And that will therefore have an impact on the overall posture and strategy of the various players.
Are you regretting that decision?
I cannot regret it. It is a decision of France.
Right.
The initial decision to come into Mali was made between the then Malian government and the then French government. It was a decision that was taken. The circumstances in Mali are what have made it difficult for the French to continue to be there. We have to make new arrangements, that's all.
Right. One of the reasons invoked was the arrival of
one of the reasons involves the arrival of Russian mercenaries, about 800 of them. Why in this 21st century crucial time, why is Russia now moving their Messianic ideas into Africa? Why is Russia now moving their Messianic ideas into Africa? Is the same Messianic idea destroying the world peace today, because he is a believer that the founder of the saint of that Russian Orthodox Church, started in Kiev, in Ukraine. Very, very important.
Arrangements, that's all.
Right. One of the reasons invoked was the arrival of Russian mercenaries, the Wagner group. The French president says they're up to 800. Is this also a red line for you?
I'm not quite sure that is one of the reasons why my understanding is that it is the absence of cooperation between the French forces and the Malian government that is at the heart of this decision. I'm not sure that the presence of these mercenaries, alleged mercenaries, is a reason for them to cop out. I don't understand.
But is it a reason for you to worry, Mr. President?
Everybody's worried. We have a long-standing protocol within ECOWAS, within the AU, against foreign mercenaries intervening in the lives of our various states. So if there's a mercenary force involved in the life of Mali, it's a matter that concerns us. If you know the history of our continent, which I'm sure you do very well, you will know the role that foreign mercenaries have played in our history, and it has not been a positive one. So
they should leave.
Obviously, we would prefer to be dealing with the Malian state and the Malian government.
Dealing with the Malian state and government has been a problem for ECOWAS. I know you've.
Okay, if I win here, enti masumuao munim President Ado wankasa waka say we don't want to be dealing with these people. Wankasa waka. So why are they there? And then among country Mali phone say Sankofui de money. They are not welcome in Africa. She and ne unimo wu ano ahwenda and ne hwende omodi Ukraine phone one day. Ombesaka say 800 of their Vatican mercenaries no assign Eba Africa bedua bibi or so that part of Africa no is part of Russia. Here, nobody will stop them. Nobody can stop them. If Russia decide to invade Africa and destroy Africa and take over the whole of that continent, nobody can stop them. Because Ukraine is the back door of the Western countries. And Poland, nom share border, France won China, Germany won China, Netherlands, Belgium, UK, won China. Omunina de Omunsego Machino Moshe, and almost supply arms keke. Ukrainian president said, we've been left to fight for ourselves. Nimukra Memobo, a young president. We've been left to fight for ourselves. They will try and hold their ground, but for how long? For how long? It's serious. Now, Yana Mufisa more allies. So this our allies, this our allies, that our allies, that. Obien Fimo. When the push come to shaft, Obien Fimo. Obien Fimo. Nti. Moa Munye Moho. Namon build more reserves. Namon build more wealth. Namun Jai say Amambu Bonnie. Yenya anything out of it as a country. Tembia near the Kranam. Amanone near Yella la Sumilai. Pachao, Pesicano. Yinjai. Nyankopon blessing and with everything. Everything. We like the idea to use what God has blessed us with to elevate us to the next level. To elevate us to the next level. To elevate us. We lack that idea. We can use it as a leverage to build ourselves in the world platform. We have failed in doing so. Look at Dubai. The king of Dubai had a little bit of oil. They were as poor, living on the sand. Sand. Not even, you cannot even grow cassava, not even maize there. But the tiny oil they had, they thought we can get that oil and use that oil to do something. They then realized that the oil will not be there forever because their oil it's not so much, but they will get that oil and use the oil to build a city which will become like an open museum to the world, for the whole world to come in, spend money, and have a look at it all the time. Therefore, tourism becomes their main source of revenue and brought in all these big brands where you could go and get them tax-free, cheaper than majority of the Western countries. Cheaper, far cheaper. Far cheaper than the majority of the Western countries. And look at Dubai today. Today, as we speak, Dubai, the Emirates Airlines, they have the finest pilot or piloting schools in the world. They train pilots anywhere in Dubai. They train pilots in Dubai more than anywhere in the world, I wanted to say. They have the finest piloting school in the world. They have so many fleet of planes than the pioneers. So many fleet. Pilots bow. And the amazing thing is when they train these pilots there, I was watching their documentary, they don't keep all these pilots there. They keep those who they want to use. And then the SS, they recruit them to the rest of the world. Brains. Ghana, we train nurses, we train teachers in SS. You need enough hospital to put them in. Instead of having an idea and having a treaty with some of these countries, you bet me offload our SS teachers and SS nurses to them and then make money out of it. Rather, no, yet block be UN block be so we a nurse ni our Ghana now person will apply to any of the Western countries to come and practice nursing. They block you. They block you. They cannot recruit from there because they think that they are draining resources. What resources? Draining. Look at the strategy of Dubai. They have the finest piloting school. Normal training pilots pilots, no, the Biomote is more than a 5-star hotel. And it's cheaper there as well. They have pilots who have come from all over the world to go and train there. Because once you finish there, they will start you from the normal one engine using petrol and whatever, normal training one, they will move you into the smaller jets, normal train you from the jets, then they will move you all the way up, from the light aircraft, drive the jumbo, the passenger aircraft. Once you go through all this, the pilot academy and qualify with the state-of-the-art environment. If they have to recruit you and there's vacancy, they recruit you. If they don't recruit you, they offload you to other airlines around the world. Nyansanono. They've moved away from the oil. They use the oil as a leverage. And they built a city which is now an open museum to the world. Everybody wants to go there. Dubai is a museum. It's an open museum to the world. I remember my first time in Amsterdam. I came out from Amsterdam Central and then I was talking to a police officer and then I asked of direction. I didn't even book a hotel because I was in Belgium And then we decided, look, let's get a train because from Belgium to Netherlands is, if you get on the train. Actually, I was in Brussels, and then from Brussels I went to Antwerp to go and do something. So after having a dinner or a lunch actually at Antwerp, we decided, look, from Antwerp to Netherlands, you get on the train 25 minutes, you there. So we decided, oh, let's go and spend the night in Netherlands and come. We came out from Netherlands Central or Amsterdam Central station, and then I saw 2 police officers. So I spoke to them. We were yet to go and book a hotel and stuff, and then they said to me, look, that is Amsterdam Central. It's an open museum. I couldn't stop laughing. I just couldn't stop laughing. Open museum. That was where I got the open museum city word from. And ever since I come out dream, my city is an open museum. It's beautiful. That is exactly what Dubai is. You cry basa bola wa ifin wa toxic choked bola bibia say okromo. Bola you cry because broni timi to the bola not the generate electricity. The bia yesu dum song yentimi pon to your bola no near the generate electricity. Your problem okay. Most students come to me but to what they play e-levy politics. E-levy politics. Look, I have a message for you. Your friend is Mr. Ora Kufiche, whoever you are. I don't know you. We will keep criticizing. We will keep calling Ghana a hell. We will keep calling Ghana a fool. We will keep labeling Ghana all the worst names in the world until say Ghana no. Ebe fan into my pefra and I be who say it's a saeba. Na say so mu oman yi say die. Yen trasen ka say na de ne Ebola me yen ka say Ebola. Yen ka say efe. Yen ka say efe. Ute flight mu na will fly in the night across the Western Europe and any of their European country or even the Western countries. Now to fly to the one who say lights, the street, even during the day, you see the nice part, everything is designed, houses. As soon as I fly to the do airspace of Ghana, a bit buffer more be who are crowd. Hey, last we also lights at 12. We say welcome to a Saka. Welcome to Saka. Welcome to Saka. Bibia boom. Saka. Bibia boom. We can't demarcate. We can't do great stuff. We can. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yakoka mumaenka. Yakoka mumaenka. Yakoka muhodi ono as muhodi ransom to what we are saying. Yebeka, sir. Let's listen to Sleepy Joe. Oh, I don't have Sleepy Joe here. I wanted us to listen to Sleepy Joe a little bit. It's so funny. But unfortunately, I didn't ask Sleepy Joe to my stream. So I'll leave Sleepy Joe out of it. I will leave Sleepy Joe. And I'll pay me buyer. Minianum. Nyamira Kacha Ghana government, and he said they should stop playing the politics with the lives of the students in Ukraine and make the necessary plans to go and get them. Either evacuating them to the nearest countries and then flying them back home, or evacuating them to the nearest country and getting a shelter or a hotel for them for some months and communicate with them. And same appeal goes to all the African countries, Cameroon, Nigeria, among their people have been left in Ukraine. Those people should not be left. Those students should not be left there. They flew from Nigeria, they flew from Ghana to those places to go and get themselves educated as medical professionals and come back to their countries to come and serve these countries. Do not leave them there to die. It's war, it's scary. People are dying. Get them out, African leaders. Please get them out. Get them out. And to Ghana leaders, stop playing politics with the lives of those of young students and act on it. And at the same time, my message to all African leaders is keep an eye on Russia having interest in Africa. 800 Russian Vatican mercenaries are now sitting in Mali, living there. What are they doing there? It's 800 of them. 800 of them. That is a massive number. Massive number. Do not entertain this in Africa. Not anymore. Because that continent has seen enough suffering. Enough suffering. And let's begin to do something for ourselves. That is my message to Ghanaian leaders and African leaders this morning. God bless you all. My name is Kofi Asante Impari, or Fifi Asante Impari. When you do come across this video, please share it among friends, families, loved ones. And at the same time, if you haven't subscribed to Diaspora Studios, where all our videos are made, the YouTube channel, please then subscribe to our YouTube, Diaspora Studios YouTube channel. Please, please, please try as much as possible and subscribe to it. God bless you all.